Hello people! Today we are going to see my top 10 choices for the new anime from 2023. I'm using MyAnimeList to get the details of each anime, so I'm using their classification system for everything about the anime, including their year of release. I will make a separate list for anime sequels since I think they need to be in a different category. Of course, this is very subjective, so feel free to share in the comments what you think are the top 10 new animes of this year. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for number 2, but this is my list and I really like that anime. Last thing, I'm going to be drawing some of the characters of the anime mentioned in my style, to avoid any copyright issues, knowing how YouTube destroyed the amazing Misty Chronexia. So be sure to check out later the real style of each of the anime in my anime list. So let's begin. Number 10. Here we have Buddy Daddies. This original anime follows two assassins, Kazuki and Rei, who are found by a sweet little girl called Miri in the middle of a job. They end up bringing the girl home and acting as their dads while they continue their very risky activities. It has only 12 episodes, the story arrives to a conclusion by the end of the season and it's really good. I really recommend it to everyone. I gave it an 8 out of 10 and it has a score of 8.13 in MAL at the time of this recording. Oh, it is also okay for beginners, meaning it has nothing weird going on that might scare newcomers to the anime, and that is important to mention, I think. Number 9. Here we have Undead and Luck. The story follows a very unique couple. First, we have Fuko, a girl who can bring deadly unluck to anyone who touches her. And second, we have Andy, a man who wants to die but is unable to since he has the power named Undead. This is set in a world very much like ours, but where we can find people like them who have the power to negate something, like luck, death, touch, etc. It is a very interesting show that I think gets better as it goes and really deserves the watch. I gave it an 8 and has a score of 7.75 in MAL at the moment of this recording. I would say it's not okay for beginners, since Andy has some very creepy vibes in the first episode and he ends up without clothes a lot, so perhaps start with something else if that is too weird for you. Number 8. Here we have Tengoku Daimakyo. I did not read the manga and never heard of it before, so I didn't have any expectations coming in, but it was really good. The plot follows two stories that alternate during the chapters in some sort of a post-apocalyptic world. On the one hand, we have Maru and Kiruko, who are traveling this world trying to find a place called Heaven. And on the other hand, we have some children living in some protected place, knowing very little about the outside world. We have monsters, gore, tragedy, mystery, and a lot of action. You can also find some really heavy and heartbreaking topics, so don't say I didn't warn you, but please, give it a watch. Number 7. Now we find Boku no Kokoro no Yabai Yatsu, also known as The Dangers in My Heart. This is a school rom-com that perhaps gives a really weird vibe in the first chapter, but then it evolves into something that really caught my attention. The main characters here are Kyotaro, the little guy, and the young model Anna. I think that you can really see the story moving forward and the characters evolving in the show, and the emotions and reactions they have feel really real to me. I was always looking forward for the next episode with this one, and I really don't like many rom-coms, so that says something. If you like them, don't forget to watch this one. Just push through the first episode. It gets really good, I swear. Number 6. This anime is very entertaining. Kusuiya no Hitorigoto is about an apothecary named Naomao who is kidnapped and sold to the imperial court to become a maid there. But her pharmaceutical knowledge and her ability to solve the predicaments of very influential people there allows her to climb positions and catch the attention of Jinji, the eunuch in charge of the inner palace. This anime is very fun and interesting to watch and has a very strong fan base in MAL with almost a score of 9 as of this recording. I really recommend this one, and I can't think of anything that might be weird and not okay for beginners. Am I forgetting something? Tell me in the comments if I did. Number 5. Now we have Some 100. Yeah, I'm not going to read the full title. I identified so much with this one. We have a salaryman who is in a very toxic working environment, basically almost every job in Japan, but one day a zombie apocalypse happens. Of course, his first reaction is to celebrate he doesn't have to go to work anymore, and then he starts writing a bucket list of 100 things he wants to do before he becomes a zombie. The show is a lot of fun and has amazing characters. Kensho Pancho and Beatrix are awesome, just remember that. The main topic resonated a lot with me and how I have felt most of my life, so that is why I place it so high up this list. If you haven't watched it, at least watch the first episode and see how it goes. Number 4. Next we have Jigokuraku. This one has one of the best opening songs of the year and an opening with really psychedelic visuals. Well, the anime has plenty of those too. The story initially follows Gabimaru, a ninja with special powers that is on death row. But since he refuses to die and is able to resist the attempts of his executioners, he is offered a full pardon if he manages to go to a special island and come back with the so-called elixir of life. So he, his main executioner, and other death row inmates all travel to this unique island where they will encounter things they never imagined. Cool characters and awesome fight scenes. I really recommend this one. Give it a watch. Number 3. And now for the top 3, we start with Oshinoko. I know this is going to sound super weird, but this is about an idol who gets pregnant with twins, and before she gives birth, her main doctor is assassinated. And of course, he reincarnates as the son of the mentioned idol. Yep, this was 100% anime material, right? And I don't want to say much more than this. The first episode is almost an hour long, I think, but it was the correct choice to make by the producers, since it was needed to fully define the plot of the anime. I think the story is very interesting, and the character development and growth are very well written. At the very least, go watch the first episode of this one. Again, it's long, but it's worth it. Number 2. So much hate I will get for this one. So, the second place for me goes to Mashle. It already has a second season, even though it has a below 8 score in MyAnimeList. In a world of magic, the anime follows the life of Mash, a guy with no magic powers. Or at least, so they say, since he has superhuman physical abilities. The thing is, people with no magical abilities are simply killed, and you can identify them because they have no mark on their faces. So this kid has to enter the magic school and pretend he has magic to ascend in society and gain enough political power to change the law and make the magicless be accepted. The show is full of what can only be called as dad jokes, but I think except for the first episode, it had at least one joke every chapter that made me laugh out loud. It has an entertaining story, but above all, it has a lot of crazy funny characters. If I remember correctly, I think this one, Konosuba, and The Vampire Dies in No Time are the animes that made me laugh the most, and that is why I gave it the number 2 spot on this list. Yeah, I know, my ranking system sucks. Number 1. And I think it should be no surprise to anyone that Frieren is on the top of this list. I hope the story continues to be this good, because this one can really become one of the masterpieces of anime. The show follows Frieren, an elf mage that was part of the heroes party who defeated the Demon King. But since she's an elf, her lifespan is far greater than anyone else on her group. And the story begins right after they defeat the Demon King and return to their home. Really weird place to start, right? This is a very philosophical and emotional anime, I would say focusing mainly on the value we give to the time we share with others and the mark it leaves in our memories, especially in the first episodes. The first one is also a long one, but again, very worth it. If you haven't watched Frieren yet, what are you doing with your time? So that is all for this video. What are your top picks? How much do you hate my choices? I will read you in the comments. If you want me to keep doing these videos, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and feel free to support me on Patreon too. See you next time!